What's your sad love story? I think a guy the first found on Match.com died, but I have no way of knowing. We had only been dating for 2 or 3 months and we were taking things slow. Then he got sick. Tumors in his back and he needed surgery. We still hung out, but he was in a lot of pain. At the time I was frustrated because I felt he was pushing me away. I just adored him and he was sending mixed messages. Now looking back, I'm thinking he was just trying to survive. He went in for surgery and I never heard from him again. I didn't know his family and he didn't have social media. My mom would check the obituaries in the paper for me and I just always wondered. I hope he didn't know how to end things and just felt this was easier. It's been 5 years and I have a family of my own now, but Michael, I hope you're okay. The love of my life and soulmate who I was married to for 20 years and together for 24 passed away about 8 months ago. I feel alone and empty inside. I have nobody to love or to love me. My life is an empty waste of space now. I took her off of life support because I know that's what she wanted and I had to respect her wishes, but I sometimes wish I was a little more greedy. I just want my doll face back. I met the guy when I was spending time in another country. We fell in love, dated for a year. I had to come back to my home country. Turns out 10,000 kilometers is very, very far, and we broke up, but I still love them but will never be able to be with them. When I was in my early 20s, I've had a love at first sight experience. It completely broke me. He actually was into me too, but not in love like I was. I had never had a boyfriend before and I got so excited. I came in like a wrecking ball, to cite a great poet. Long story short, I scared him off. He broke up. I couldn't get him out of my head and couldn't imagine a world without him, so I tried to kill myself. Though let me reassure you all, it's been years and I'm over him. As long as I don't see him IRL, I just know that I'd fall back in the spiral. I even had a long-term relationship after him. I had to leave my first boyfriend behind because I moved out of state and didn't even get to say goodbye because I didn't know we were moving when I left. We left to see my aunt who had been traveling and was diagnosed with brain cancer in another state. She was too sick to travel home, so they rented a house and stayed there essentially until she passed away. My mom liked the area better than my hometown though, so we ended up staying. Our stuff was shipped to us, so I never got to say goodbye to my boyfriend in person. We kept in contact for a couple years, but being 16 and 18, it wasn't easy for me to just pack up and head back to move in somewhere with him. We both knew we weren't ready for that, so we tried our best to keep the long-distance romance going. Eventually he messaged me one day and told me that he can't do it anymore and he didn't want to hear from me again because he couldn't handle it. I finally got with my best friend and soulmate. He knows more about me than anyone and knows what I've been put through my whole life. When we first got together, he promised he would never do anything to me that others have. 1 year later he cheated, lied and broke my spirit. Something I never thought was possible with me, yet he accomplished it. It's been a year since I left him and he still tries to get back into my life. The sad part is I know he doesn't love me and I can't stop loving him. I had met my best friend when we were both teenagers. I bounced around and dated different people, and they were always there supporting me and trying to watch out for me. Eventually we dated, but I was in such a bad place mentally and physically, living in an abusive household. My attitude towards him got super shitty. I got mad over the smallest things and was an absolute tyrant. Eventually we broke up, remained friends for a while, but I guess we drifted apart? I don't actually remember. Anyway, we recently got into contact again after almost 10 plus years and I feel like absolute shit for how I treated them then. I hope I can do right by them, but the lost opportunity kills me. Never know what the future holds, but I have zero expectations and I'm just super thrilled for the chance to talk again. I had a huge crush on a girl and at the time I didn't know it, but nothing was ever going to happen because she had already met the man she would later marry, have kids with, and still be with over 20 years later. While I was blinded by teenage desire, I turned down 2 girls directly. Both of them were great people, but the one girl specifically was super cool, super cute, and looking back now we definitely would have made a great couple. I still look back at turning her down as the biggest mistake I have ever made in my entire life. So I'm an awkward dude, but every now and then I find someone, usually also awkward, who I don't frighten off. Now, if you've ever tried to arrange a date with a fellow awkward person, you might know things take a bit longer as you both circle around the subject. Anyway, sometime between us deciding to go out, and us actually figuring out what we were going to do, she fucking died. Instead of a first date, I ended up going to her funeral. I feel in love with an older married woman. She was in a loveless marriage and I was horny. But the more time we spent together, to and from hotel rooms, I really started appreciating our time together. After a few months we were just seeing each other. But she had her and her husband's political careers to think about. She was so beautiful and strong, but she was in so much pain and trapped. There was never gonna be a good time to break it off, but it was better than it getting out. I loved her and I like to think she meant it when she said she loved me. I was lost in my life before I met her, but she was supportive and encouraging. One day she came over to my place, we drank some tea and that was it. I don't always think about the ones that got away, but as I get older and reflect, I'm starting to think being with someone and being happy isn't in the deck.